For inspiration and recognition of science and technology, launched its 18th FIRST robotics competition recently with a kickoff of a new game called Lunacy. Students and mentors at Governor Simcoe, who are the defending world champions, waited patiently for the rules to be unveiled and the season to begin.
Well, today is the first day of the 2009 build season for FRC. And what we learned today is we learned the game that we're going to be competing in a few weeks. We have 6 weeks to design and build a robot around this game to compete for points. And so today the game animation has come out, which is a summarization of the rules and what happens during a match, and we get all the detailed rules. And so we print off all of those rules, and then tomorrow we'll have a big brainstorming session with the team and start from there. Basically, the kids are in every day after school. They're here all day weekends. Sometimes there's a lot of late nights, especially towards the end of the 6 weeks when it becomes crunch time. And then after that, we ship our robot off and we start into the competitions.
You had a very successful year last year.
We did.
Tell me about that.
Last year, it was a very interesting year for us. We competed in 3 regional competitions and did extremely well in all those competitions, winning each one. We set a lot of great scores and we had a lot of records. And it wasn't just our performance on the field, it was our performance off the field as well. Like with the big award, it's for the Chairman's Award, and that is less about how your robot does and more about what your team does in its community and its partnerships with your sponsors and your school and what you do to spread the word of FIRST. And we won that award at the Waterloo Regional last year, so that was also a big success for us. And then from there we went to the championships where we took home the big trophy and won the championships.
In the Lunacy game, robots are designed to pick up 9-inch game balls and score them in trailers hitched to their opponent's robots for points during a 2-minute and 15-second match. Additional points are awarded for scoring a special game ball, the Supercell, in the opponent's trailers during the last 20 seconds of the match. Lunacy is played on a low-friction floor, which means teams must contend with the laws of physics.
Today and tomorrow there's going to be a lot of the brainstorming, and during the brainstorming session we don't just talk about ways to build the robot and design the robot, we also talk about the strategy, and we weigh things that are more important and what's going to be more work and things like that to decide which is the best strategy for us and which is the best robot for us. And then from there we'll start designing things, we'll start prototyping ideas, just rough things out of wood, and see what works and how things react. And especially with this year's game, because it's very different, because you have to use a specific set of wheels and the surface area of the playing field is slippery. So where in past years we've always had a very strong drive base and had that traction, now we're going to be sliding all around, so we're really going to have to change our strategy to work with this. And so from there we'll prototype, we'll start building, we'll test things, and we'll probably change things 5 or 6 times, because design is an iterative process, and that's one of the reasons we are so successful, because even if it works we keep trying to make it better and better until it's what we want.
More than 42,000 high school students from across the U.S., Canada, and around the world are participating in this year's FRC. West Lane Spartonics are entering their 5th year of competition, and for Nick Lawrence, Lunacy will be a great challenge.
I'm going to say it's probably the most different and challenging game I've seen so far in FIRST. That includes LEGO League, some FTC games that I've seen, and FRC games. It's quite a change from last year. Last year's game was like NASCAR. This year's game is basically hovercrafts without hovercrafts, in my opinion. I think you're going to see a lot of heavy contact with the robots. So the robots are going to have to be really sturdy, really robust. All around, it's just going to be a crazy, fast action game.
At today's kickoff, teams were shown the game field and received a kit of parts made up of motors, batteries, a control system, and a mix of automation components, but no instructions. Working with mentors, students have 6 weeks to design, build, program, and test their robots to meet the season's engineering challenge.
The next 6 weeks are the sleepless weeks. It's every day, go hard. We have to design, build, and program this robot in 6 weeks, which is 42 days, and it doesn't seem like a lot of time. But you really need to get along, because you're there every day with your team, and you become family, so you become a really close-knit group. It's pretty hard to describe the challenges, because there's so many things, like there's lack of sleep, there's lack of time, and if you miss one night, like for example when I have to go to work, you can miss like an entire robot being built.
With 6 weeks left to go, Team 1114 Symbotics will need to work harder than ever to win at Lunacy and repeat as FIRST world champions.
We have a lot of work to do, because this game is it's really thrown me for a bit of a spin. It's unlike anything we've ever experienced. There's a lot more limitations, I think, just because we have to use a certain set of wheels so that there is that slippery surface for us. And when they showed the demonstration, you can see there's a robot driving and someone stands there and they can just hold it off with their foot. They're holding a 130-pound robot off with their foot with ease. And it's going to be very different, and we're really going to have to change our strategy to compete.
The 2009 First Championship will take place April 16th to the 18th at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. To find out more information on how you can support West Lane Spartonics and Governor Simcoe Symbotics, please visit their website. In Niagara, you're watching The Source.